Hello there, Cancer. Thank you for stopping by for your tarot video forecast for the week of December 14th through the 20th. On Monday, the card that you have coming up is the Four of Swords. This is talking about a period of forced rest coming in on Monday. Forced rest is a time when you're not able to do all the things that you would normally be doing. This is not by choice. This is not saying, oh, I'm going to call into work today, or oh, I'm going to start vacation today. This is something that is actually, the forced rest is imposed upon you. And so what happens when you're in that forced rest is that you have a chance to think about things that normally you would not be thinking about. And as you're considering them, your perspectives are starting to change. And that does begin to sort of change how you're interacting with certain situations in your life. So even though you have a forced rest on Monday, I always see this as good for the long term because you come into this forced rest as Cancer version 1.0. You come out of this forced rest as Cancer 2.0, new and improved and upgraded. Okay, so that's your Monday. Tuesday, what we have going on, Cancer, is we have the Knight of Coins. And the Knight of Coins is talking about being very diligent with your money, one way or the other. There's a couple of ways that this manifests in generally, so here's how it could manifest for you. One way could be that you are actually paying the bills on Tuesday. But more importantly, it talks about making sure that there's enough money to cover everything that you want to have covered. So this would talk about avoiding any impulse spending, avoiding overspending, making sure that the priorities are covered first, and then what's left over we can use for the fun stuff. So that's one way that that can manifest. Now, the other way that the Knight of Coins manifests for us is that you can be making sure to go to work on Tuesday, making sure to do a good job, making sure the people there appreciate the work that you're doing your work with diligence. All right. And then if you're not working for somebody, if you are doing your own thing, this is talking about doing that thing that brings in the income, being diligent about it. This is not a slacking off day. This is a day of really doing what it takes to bring in that cash flow. Okay, so that's Tuesday. Wednesday, what we have showing up is we have the Devil card in reverse. The Devil card in reverse, what I'm actually hearing as I first glance down at this card is getting a little tripped up. So to me, that's saying that the Devil card in reverse is talking about a temptation that comes along, but when it's in reverse, that temptation does not draw us in. It doesn't pull us in. It can also be a fear that comes along that doesn't pull us in because it's in reverse. Now that I'm hearing that, it gets you a little tripped up. That's telling me that this is not a fear or a temptation, that it's that you're just having a real easy time letting go by. So there's going to be a little bit of that inner conflict, a little bit of debate about, okay, how do I want to handle this? Do I just want to cave? Do I just want to let myself fall fully into the fear of whatever this is that's coming up and let myself go down the path of all those negative thoughts that I could take with this? Or in the case of temptation, if it's a temptation for you, this is a point where you look at this and it's something that you sort of consider, well, what if I did that? What would be the worst case scenario? Maybe I could do just a little bit. All of those crazy little thoughts that run around whenever we're facing temptation. I feel like you do have a little bit of that battle going on Wednesday. Okay, so that is Wednesday. Let's move on to Thursday. Thursday, what we have coming up is we have the Temperance card in reverse. This is telling me that you're feeling kind of impatient on Thursday. Kind of stomping that foot on the ground. Where is it? Whatever it is that you're expecting to show up. So for some of you, I'm feeling like you are expecting boxes in the mail, packages in the mail, and they don't show up yet on Thursday, and you're starting to get a little excited. It feels like for some of you, and this is getting very specific, so obviously it won't apply to all of you. This is a general reading. But it feels like for some of you, you really need this package to be in no later than Friday. I feel like some of you are actually leaving on Friday and you want to have this package with you. So maybe it's a Christmas present that you bought for somebody, or who knows. But I feel like there's some impatience for a lot of you coming in about an actual package. Now, this doesn't have to be about a package. That's pretty specific for a general reading. For most of you, I'm not expecting that to be the case, actually. But there is something definitely going on with impatience on Thursday. Something is just really getting on your last nerve with the amount of time that it's taking to get this thing accomplished or to get this taken care of. Okay, so that's Thursday. Let's move on to Friday. Friday we have the Empress and the Empress in reverse. And what I'm hearing is that Friday you're feeling a little bit helpless. You're feeling like you're at the mercy of other people or of institutions, that you're not in charge of your own life. First of all, what I need to say is that's an illusion, and you need to realize that that is an illusion, because there's only so much control of your life that other people actually have. There's only so much control that they actually want, I'm being told to tell you as well. So for somebody, that's a real message that you need to be aware of. But this is talking about that victim mentality kind of coming in on Friday. You want to be aware of that, because when you let yourself fall into that victim mentality, what happens is you do start to feel helpless and you start to feel like things are not in your control anymore. Things are. We may not be able to control people, places, or things, but we can certainly control our reactions to them. And we can certainly control what people, places, and things we allow into our lives to affect our lives. So if you're starting to feel like you're being victimized by something, you really want to give yourself a chance to take a good look at that and figure out, okay, what can I do about this situation to put myself into a stronger position? Because it's going to be all about how you react to it more than it is about what's actually going on. It's just the way life is. Now, on Saturday, we have the Ten of Cups showing up in reverse. Ten of Cups in reverse just means that there is something that you're emotionally attached to that is not going the direction that you would like it to. So this could be a romantic relationship. It could also be any other kind of relationship. This could even be a hobby that you absolutely love, or a project that you're working on that you're excited about, but something happens and now all of a sudden you're not so thrilled with it. The emotions just isn't there the way it was. In fact, maybe you're feeling a little more aggravated than you are excited. So like I said, for a lot of people, this will be relationships, but it doesn't have to be. Cups cards talk about emotion, but those emotions don't have to be about our partner or significant other. They don't have to be about any particular thing. So this really is just saying you have some emotions that where they did feel really good, now they're kind of turning around. And so obviously romantic relationships where people want to go with that right off the bat, but an example of another way that that can manifest would be, say that you're working on a quilt, and you take this quilt in to have the quilting done after you've pieced the top. And whenever you get it back, you see that it was not quilted anywhere near the way you asked these people to quilt it. Maybe they just kind of came up with their own design all on their own or something. And so now this project that you absolutely adored and loved and that you were just so excited about how it was turning out, now you're not so happy about how it's turning out. It doesn't look like you wanted it to look. And if you're giving it as a gift, that kind of makes it even more of a negative feeling, because you had plans on, you know, how this was going to be perceived by the other person, blah, blah. So anyway, you get the idea. It doesn't always have to be about people for it to be a Cups card. And Ten of Cups reverse just means a turning around of those emotions from something positive into something that's more negative. So can be really about anything. So that'll be manifesting a lot of different ways for you Cancers. Now, on Sunday, we have the Hermit in reverse. Hermit in reverse tells me that you've spent some time alone on Sunday and you're tired of it. And you're coming out of that alone time on Sunday, probably Sunday evening. And I feel like for some of you, not for all of you, this is a general reading. If you want a specific reading, you have to get a private reading. For some of you, this has to do with that Ten of Cups in reverse. So there could be a little bit of a rift in a relationship where you're kind of spending some time sort of recalibrating yourself, sort of regrouping yourself, not really hanging out with that person when you thought you might be, and then coming back together with them at the end of Sunday. So for some of you, that's going to be how that plays out, although not all of you. Just in general, it's talking about spending time alone and then being ready to be social and be around people again by the end of Sunday. So Cancers, that is your week. Thank you so much, every one of you, for stopping by, for sharing, liking, subscribing, and commenting. I do appreciate all of your support. Everyone have a fantastic week. I will see you back here next time. Peace out.